morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning.
Got a great guest in studio now as we have our Sheriff Sitdown presented by the great folks at Our Community Credit Union. Trevor Severance here, and we're going to talk search and rescue. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to see you. And summertime, lots of folks out and about recreating, and at times they may overestimate their skill levels, and that's kind of when search and rescue gets called in. This is a volunteer, mostly volunteer organization, right?
Mostly volunteer organization. The way this search and rescue is structured throughout the state, we rely on volunteer emergency workers to come out and do this work. This is on their own money, their own time. There's not much to support it. They just really care that much about their community, and they're very passionate about what they do.
And are these folks that would normally have kind of maybe the big trucks that are able to get up into the forested areas, or the like the ATVs or things like that, or is it anybody really?
Actually, anybody can volunteer for search and rescue. We have a job for anybody at any skill level. We have what you normally consider, you have your ground search folks that put on a pack and they're walking through the brush. We have mobile units, which are the 4x4s and the ATVs. At times we've had horseback. We don't currently do it, but we do have had mounted units before. People have search and rescue canine dogs. Even people that can't get out in the woods, we have a spot for them. They can help back at base camp, like when I'm an incident commander, helping run the radios, run the paperwork. Making food for people coming out of the woods is something we want to try to bring back too. So if somebody wants to volunteer, we'll find a job for them.
There's a lot of wooded area in Mason County. We were just kind of talking off air about how much there is. So in the different districts and fire districts, those become kind of the leads on any sorts of incidents where you too will be called in. But if it's outside those areas, for example, the High Seal Bridge and things like that, who's the landowner of that? And then we're talking about how much there is.
So Green Diamond owns a lot of property in Mason County. A lot of it falls within fire districts. Some of it does not. And the fire districts, when it comes to rescue operations, they take the lead when it's within their district. Anything typically up in the mountains is the Olympic National Forest, which is 21% of the Olympic National Forest is within Mason County.
Wow.
And so any of that stuff that does not fall within a fire district, is the sheriff's office is the primary responder.
So that is someone that's maybe going up to Staircase and walking around there?
Not Staircase. Staircase is an interesting, different. That is National Park, and they have their own exclusive jurisdiction to that.
Oh, wow.
But Mount Eleanor, Mount Washington, Jefferson Lake, the Steel Bridge, which we'll talk about in a little bit, any of the other areas in the National Forest, we have concurrent jurisdiction.
Wow. That's fascinating. And again, a mostly volunteer organization with opportunities for folks to help out with so much area that is wooded that could perhaps need search and rescue. Are there other counties, or are there other areas of the state where this is a line item, like in the budget they make time for this, or are all search and rescues kind of volunteer-based in nature?
It varies on county by county. Most places are volunteer-based, and they may have typically they have what they call search and rescue coordinators, are paid deputies that go out and do that. Here we have a little unique opportunity with the fact that we have so many high-risk areas, Mount Eleanor, the Steel Bridge, that are high frequency for us, that take special technical rescue abilities. We have a special operations rescue team, which is made up of sheriff's employees and partners with local fire districts, all work together to do high-angle rope rescue work, swift water work, backcountry work, where it's a little different than using volunteers. It's a little more hazardous. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to get there faster. Most of us are on a response basis. We can get to the person, we can stabilize the patient, and then we can call back to the incident commander and say, here's what I need to get them out. Of course, relying on volunteers, you bring volunteers in, and it takes them time to leave their own lives, get their stuff, get there. Sometimes we need to cut that time down. Olympic Mountain Rescue, which is actually a Kitsap-based organization, We use them quite a bit up in the mountains, but it takes them a good couple hours to get there.
Sure.
And so in the meantime, we send one or two of our team or technical rescue or swift water, depending on the situation, to get in there, get to the person, and make a plan.
Do you guys use new technology, kind of like drones and things like that, or is it kind of resorting to kind of the old-fashioned observation and just personal human observation, looking for people who are missing and stuff?
We are in the process of getting our drones in the air. We're getting some pilots picked and licensed, which will be a critical thing. It gives us an opportunity to check some places that are just too hazardous to get into at certain times. I'm not a big technology guy because technology fails. Cell phone technology has been great. It's completely changed the game of search and rescue. When I first started, what we call the phase 2, the ability for our dispatch center to, using your signal, locate where you're at, didn't exist. So we'd go to Mount Eleanor, we'd get a broken cell phone call that somebody was injured at Mount Eleanor, and we had no idea where they were at. We had to wait till resources got a chance to actually search for them. Now it's almost pinpoint. In most places, we still have some places they can tell me really close to where the area is at, and it really cuts down on the searching aspect of search and rescue.
You were just up at Mount Eleanor doing a rescue.
We had a rescue this weekend. One of our search and rescue coordinators worked on for us. They did a great job. A gentleman had got caught in a rock slide and injured his shoulder. He couldn't walk, and he was had some pretty severe injuries. So thankfully, the Navy was able to come fly him out.
So when it comes to using a helicopter, what's the travel time on that? So that comes from the base in Bremerton, or?
Typically, they come out of Whidbey Island.
Okay.
Sometimes we get the Coast Guard out of Port Angeles. There's a process of having to ask for and exhaust local resources first, which is only Snohomish and King County, and that they're usually busy in their own counties.
Yeah.
And then we actually make a call to the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center in Florida that coordinates all military air asset rescues in the United States. And then they call back to whoever's closest. Whidbey Island happens to have on-station helicopter team for search and rescue if their pilots go down. So they're usually up in the air. We usually have them within an hour, 30 minutes prep time and 30-minute flight time.
What your services and the search and rescue are there and available, but again, tell folks what they need to know to prepare themselves if they're going to go out on a hike, or just go to the Steel Bridge and look and see what's going on, or go to Mount Eleanor. What should someone be? What should their skill level be, I guess, or how do we get to the point so you're not being called? Let's just put it that way.
Well, there's a few things. First of all, like you said, know your own skill level. Don't get yourself into a situation that you don't have the abilities to get out of. Be prepared. Bring certain supplies. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have water. Extra clothing. The weather changes in the mountains in a heartbeat. You can go up there. Going up Mount Eleanor at 2 p.m. in flip-flops is not a good idea, because it's going to turn dark. The weather's going to change. Something's going to happen. Staying out of areas that are closed. The area under the Steel Bridge, that canyon under the Steel Bridge, is a closed area, and it's closed for a reason. It's extremely dangerous. It doesn't appear so from the bridge, but it's almost over 400 feet from the bridge deck to the water.
Wow. And
it's a sheer wall canyon, and it's extremely dangerous for anybody to go in there, even for me to send rescuers in there. We've had 3 incidents up there this year. One of them, unfortunately, he didn't make it. We did recover him, but it took us 8 weeks to recover him. And so staying out of that area, and I will tell everybody that if you're in that closed area, whether you're rescued or not, and you're caught in there by us or the Federal Forest Service police, there is a trespassing charge, and we're going to do it. We have to keep people safe. We have to keep people out of there. Mount Eleanor Trail is going to close in August. They're going to close because they're going to airlift more goats off there as they work on mitigating the goat population up there. So it'll be another hazard area. Staying out of closed areas, knowing what your abilities are, and being prepared for anything that happens, bringing some extra equipment, having some food. One of the survival blankets is great because if the weather changes, you have something, and keep that cell phone charged. It's been real handy.
Yeah.
Are GPS locators something you would think they'd be cost-effective ways of hikers of all skill levels to just have on them? We recently got one for our son's dog who gets away from the property once in a while, and it's just kind of peace of mind. It locates her within like 15 feet of where she is, and it's app-based and everything. Is that something that like seasoned hikers? I'm not a hiker myself, but is that something that everyone feasibly could carry on them? Like
they can. A lot of places are too remote. If, like the one you're talking about, that's app-based. If you don't have a signal and you can't access the app, that's based on the cellular signal. There are a lot of places that we have that don't have that. There are also satellite ones. They're called spot locators. You can buy, and it links up to a satellite, but they've got a price tag and there's a monthly fee. But if you're an avid outdoorsman, it's, for me, having that peace of mind of being able to click that button and they at least know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Are GPS standalone units like the Garmin's in the world more accurate than the GPS on your cell phone?
Actually, they are. And cell phone still relies on a cell signal triangulation.
Yeah.
Your true Garmin's, your standalone GPSs are all satellite-based. So you're not having the interference of not having a tower close by.
Okay.
And they will get much more accurate.
Mason County Search and Rescue is on Facebook. We'll put the link to that when we post this in the Sheriff Sitdown. Mason County SAR. They're on 1st at 305 South 1st Street, and the phone number is 474-5125 for you to get involved, volunteer your time if you've got the ability, and just learn more about the Mason County Search and Rescue. Good to see you, Trevor.
Good to see you.
It is 7:51 now. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.